this is easy.
What is up, GOAT World? It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another GOAT Format video. The GOAT Format rated series has returned yet again, and I'm back where I left off. We did the water, we did the wind, we did the fire, but now it's time to do Earth. So go ahead and like and subscribe as we hop on into the top 10 Earth monsters of GOAT Format. And before we start, I gotta tell you what, this was absolutely difficult to do. This one was the first very hard one to do because there are so many fantastic and wonderful Earth monsters in GOAT Format. But as you know, I went through all the trenches, all the depths, all the deep dives, all the garbage piles, and I found what I consider to be the top 10 Earth monsters of GOAT Format. Make sure you let me know what I got right and what I got incorrect. As always, to jump this thing off, whittling it down to 10 was hard. And the order was very hard too, but I think I nailed it. Starting off at number 10. Number 10, I have none other than fan favorite, Berserker Gorilla. When I think of the Earth attribute, the first monster that always comes to my mind is going to be the Berserker Gorilla. This dude, 4-star, 2,000 attack, 1,000 defense, must attack. Don't worry, I was going to attack anyway, so it does not matter. This dude leading us off at number 10, I think, is accurate. This card is very solid. It's kind of picking up, actually, it's kind of losing steam a little bit. Everyone is starting to favor Zumbari the Dark, but Berserker Gorilla is still an incredibly solid Yu-Gi-Oh card coming in at number 10 for the Earth monsters. Okay, moving on to number 9. Number 9, again, we're starting to think off controversy right away. Coming in at number 9, I'm going to put Rescue Cat. I'm going to put Rescue Cat at number 9 because, again, this card facilitates an entire strategy on its own. This card is very complex. This card has a lot of depth and layers. It's a very good card. When you combine it with Last Will, Giant Trune, it's a vibrational frequency right here. This card can get active. The fact that we have this card at 3 in GOAT Format and it is not a absolute meta contending, meta destroying type situation is completely beyond me, and I don't understand how that works out. I've lost to this card, I've lost to this deck more times than I care to admit, but still I got to put it at number 9 just to try to show that, hey, maybe this card alone isn't as good as it can be. It relies heavily on the combo elements of the game, so I had to kind of bump it down to this number 9 position, but I could not make a top 10 Earth monster without putting the Rescue Gato onto this GOAT Format dueling list. All right, moving on. Coming in at the number 8 position, I got to put this card. Maybe it's a little bit of bias. Maybe there's a little bit of bias. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make this list as unbiased as possible. Maybe there's a little bit of bias, but I'm putting Goblin Attack Force at the number 8 position. Now, hear me out. I am very biased. You know what I'm saying? Especially recency bias is one of my biggest biases. And Goblin Attack Force in that Earth aggro strategy is just going crazy. Okay, the card is very solid. 2,300 direct. It can just beat anybody. I think most of the time the thing can trade with Chaos Sorcerer. It can just do a bunch of damage in bulk, in mass at a level 4. It's a warrior, it's searchable. I think this card is solid, and it is one of my favorite cards in the entire game. So I got to put Goblin Attack Force in here. Maybe somebody might say this is too high coming in at this number 8 position, but I still think Goblin Attack Force is top 10 Earth monsters in GOAT Format, so I had to put it on there. As well as our number 7 monster, I'm going to put the King Tiger Wug. The King Tiger Wug I'm going to put as the number 7 Earth monster in GOAT Format, simply because this card is like a side deck staple. This card is very good against the Chaos control decks, the Go control decks, the Burn decks, the Reasoning Gate decks. This thing covers a ton of matchups, and it's a moving floodgate, and it's got a pretty decent attack. That's 1,700. This card is, I think, is what has been allowing these warrior strategies and these aggro strategies, and even some turbo strategies I've seen have been leaning on the King Tiger Wug. I think it's good against Burn and a ton of other matchups. So having this guy as a top 10 Earth monster, I think was an open and shut case, because it is so solid and it's so heavily played and is a very good card. So I had to put this dude at number 7. King Tiger Wug. All right, coming on in at number 6. Now this one, I know all of these on this list, I'm going to get lit up on this one. I've been nailing it so far, but on this list, I know I'm going to get some problems on this one. I'm going to have to put the Morphing Jar. I'm going to put the Morphing Jar on this list simply because this card is absolutely dynamic. This card is crazy. This card can change games. This card can win games. This card is banana, and it doesn't nearly get played as much as it possibly could. I think this card is severely underplayed. It's seeing play in a lot of Go control decks. It's seeing play, obviously, as a staple in all burn strategies. It's seeing a lot of play in just different types of things. What I can see this card being played coming in from the side deck, I think going going second, this is a great go second card in GO format, because sometimes, as you know, as you play GO format, your opponent will start, they'll play Delinquent Duo, they'll play Pot of Greed, they'll do all these things, and they'll get all this generated advantage on you, and there's really not a lot you can do most of the time. But if you have a card like Morphing Jar in your deck, you can put it on the field, set it, and you can restart that game. Every now and then that works out, and I think this card is incredible, so I had to put it at number 5. I've seen what this card can do. I am a Morphing Jar believer, so I had to put it in this list, and I had to rate it actually quite high. I think Morphing Jar is that card. I think it's really strong, and it's an Earth monster, level 2 rock, doing the damn thing. All right, moving on. Now we're in the top 5. Again, controversies are all over this thing. Controversies everywhere, all over this list. Make sure you let me know. Coming in at number 5, I'm going to put the Mystic Swordsman level 2. I'm putting the Mystic Swordsman level 2 at the number 5 position, simply because it's so good against the Chaos Turbo deck, simply because it's heavily played in basically all warrior strategies, all earth aggro strategies, all aggro strategies in general. If you're playing an aggressive based strategy, you need to incorporate Mystic Swordsman level 2 into your strategy. If you're playing against a deck that likes to set cards on the field, this dude is good. He has a lot of unused potential as well. That 900 attack is not that bad. That level 2 star level is not that bad. Getting in under floodgates in general and attacking your opponent with 900 sometimes can just win. But that effect to just destroy set monsters without flipping them up, just getting them off the field, is just so good in GO format. I had to put this dude in there at the number 5 position. This card is so heavily played, and it's just so good. It's such a good card. Whenever I see my opponent have a set monster on the field, or if I'm playing against Chaos Turbo and I know I have this card in my deck, I always feel a little bit less pressure, you know, a little sigh of relief comes over me when I have the access to the Mystic Source level 2. So I had to include it. I think this card is too good. All right, moving into the top 4, and coming in at the top 4, I had to start off with a Gakugir Panda. I had to put the Panda in there because, again, this card, it can carry a whole deck. Basically, the Panda Burn strategy is named after this card. This card can just win games. This card can win games. It is a solid Yu-Gi-Oh card. Boosting up, piercing, has a pretty nice defense. This card is very good. It probably can actually be a little bit higher. I think I actually rated this a little bit too low, but I think this card is good enough. And also what I'm learning is that this card is actually standalone pretty decent on its own as a side deck option. I've seen some duelists bringing in the Gakugir Panda into whatever deck you're playing as a side deck option against Go control strategies, against token based strategies, so you can just pierce through and just win. I've seen that kind of taken off the last season. I haven't seen so much this season, but I think it's a really solid card. So I had to include the Gakugir Panda coming in at the number 4 position in Earth monsters in GOAT format. Okay, we're in the top 3. Controversies continue. We are in the top 3, and I had to include at number 3. Number 3, I'm putting Gigantes, Gigantes, however you want to say it. Just say it. You know what it is. Gigantes, Gigantes, you know, is going to be in that number 3 position. I put this guy here because as one of the banish this, summon this kind of guys, like the Rock Spirit, Gigantes, Aqua Spirit, all those type of summons, Gigantes is by far and away the very best one out of all of them. This card is a rock star. There's no pun intended. He's a rock, but he's also a rock star. You know what I'm saying? This card is, I think, along with Goblin Attack Force, I think this is like the backbone of the Earth aggro strategy. Having this dude, having access to this guy is what kind of put that deck on the map, and also his effect to destroy all the spell and traps on the field. When that comes up, it's huge. So Gigantes is a no-brainer. He had to go in there. I think this card is among the very best Earth monsters in GOAT format. I think he's solid as a rock, man. And I gotta put him in there, holding that log, looking, doing this thing, being buff. Gigantes is the guy. Coming in at number 2. I'm gonna put the Exile Force. The gang is back in town. The boys are back in town. Exiled Force coming in at the number 2 position. It's a good card. I mean, it's a staple in the warrior deck. Rotor for Exile is such a strong play. Premature for Exile is such a strong play, and I gotta put him in there because it just goes 1 for 1 with anything. This card, you'll and people who play Go format, or if you're just getting into Go format, you'll learn cards that can kill BLS are always going to be rated a little bit higher than cards that can't. Dude. It's all about getting around BLS. It's all about getting around chaos. It's all about getting around set monsters. This card can do all of that. So having Exile Force is just the way. So I had to put this dude into the top 10, number 2 best Earth monster. I had to do it. But before we move on, just to relieve myself of some of the hate, I'm going to go ahead and do a quick, before we go to the monster I believe is the number 1 monster in GOAT format, I'm going to do a quick rundown of some cards that probably should be on this list to save you some time. So if you skipped ahead, this is going to be the cards I think that could have been on the list. Number 1 that probably could have and should have been on this list is going to be the DD Assailant. Okay, DD Assailant is a rock star. This card is so good. I didn't know, but I don't think DD Assailant alone is better than a lot of these cards I put ahead of it. I think it is good. It is good, but I don't think it's better than all of the cards I have put above it, along with the Pyramid Turtles. I've just been really down on recruiters in general, but I think Pyramid Turtle is solid. Pyramid Turtle is solid, but you're only going to be as good as what you can recruit. And the Pyramid Turtle can get Ryukogi, Spirit Reaper, you can get Vampire Lord and all that stuff, but then you're playing those cards too. So you're playing a zombie deck, which is, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be what it is. And by extension of that, I have to put the Giant Rat on here. Again, I'm just really down on recruiters right now. I don't know why, but the Giant Rat definitely could be on this list. I think Giant Rat is definitely probably better than some of these cards, but I think in application alone by itself, I don't think it's quite good enough. Again, I also put the Kinetic Soldier on that list. I think Kinetic Soldier is good enough to be on this list, and I also think Bazoo the Soul Eater is good enough to be on this list, as well as the Master of Oz, Ryu Senshi, and Warrior from Another Planet. I think those cards are good enough to be in the top 10, but you have to tell me at home, what do you think I can take out to put these cards in? You know, that's the decision that you have to make. That's a decision that I have to make. But going on into number 1, there is only one number 1 Earth monster in GOAT format, and you guys already probably know exactly what that monster is. That monster is none other than the Injection Fairy Lily. And I don't care if you agree with me or not. I do not care if you agree with me or not. This card is so far ahead as number 1 Earth monster in GOAT format is ridiculous, because what this card can do, like I said, what all these cards can do, this card can do. It can bolster the burn matchup. If you're playing the burn strategy, it'll help you. If you're trying to play the Earth aggro strategy, it can help you. I think this card is severely underplayed. I think more decks can get away with using the Injection Fairy Lily because it can do everything that a lot of these cards can do. It can pump some serious damage. It can clear BLS. It can clear any chaos. It can do so much. You put it on the field and you can just win. This thing can steal games so easily. You pair it with a creature swap, you send them a token, you send 34 indirect. This is crazy. This is a crazy good card. Being a 3-star, having that 1500 defense is also pretty good. It comes up. I think Injection Fairy Lily is a solid Earth Yu-Gi-Oh card. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but I've seen what this card can do, and I have to put this thing at number 1. Okay, but this is it. This is the list. This is the top 10 Earth monsters. I also have my also rans on the side. I probably could have included more of those, but this is my list, and I think I nailed it. I think it's pretty solid. So make sure you get down in the comment section. You tell me if I nailed it or if I failed it, and then we can do it just like that. As always, I'm JDZ. I play Ghosts. Until the next time, shout out to all the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.